Stream start already?
No. It's not live for me yet.
Okay. We should be live now. Alright, welcome everyone to this discussion with me, Andres Restart, and Brandon from What About Nintendo. We have a lot to talk about today, but let me go over the outline for you guys. We're going to talk about some holiday games that are coming out this holiday season. We're going to talk about Nintendo Switch sales, and a lot of games have been selling pretty well, and what sort of implications that may have. We're going to talk about a potential Nintendo Direct that's coming really soon. We're going to talk about Xenoblade 2, which is coming out at the end of this week, and kind of go over some of our favorite Xenoblade memories. And we're going to talk about the influence of anime in video games and what sort of impact there may be, and we're probably going to argue about it, because I like anime. Brandon, you don't necessarily like anime. What is up, Black Star Dude? How's it going? So that's the outline. Anyone who's watching this that's after the fact, keep in mind, I will put timestamps for each topic, so go to the description or check the pinned comment later on if you want to go to a specific topic rather than just watch the entire discussion. It'll probably be somewhere between an hour and a half long. So yeah, you know, I somehow come up with a slew of things to talk about this week. So Brandon, before we get into that, how you been doing, man? Anything interesting that's been going on with you and your gaming life?
Yeah, I've been doing good. I bought Skyrim Special Edition lately. That's kind of consumed my gaming life, because after I beat Mario Odyssey, I went 100%ed it, but I beat the story, and I kind of just like, okay, I'm done for a little bit. I'm going to take a break and play that, try to 100% that at a later date. But I bought that. Been working really hard on some videos lately that have been doing really well, so that's been doing good. Overall, just a lot of YouTube and gaming and stuff like that. I mean, I had a good Thanksgiving, but it was just the usual. You know, go eat some food, go home.
Yeah.
It's better than that, though.
Yeah, my week was a little hectic. Just a lot of work, trying to maintain stuff on YouTube as well. I didn't actually do that much for Thanksgiving. I did eventually have Thanksgiving food. There's still a whole bunch of leftovers for Thanksgiving in my fridge. So there's been a lot of good food. It's been good. I'm still playing Mario Odyssey. I'm getting ready for Xenoblade 2. I just actually downloaded Horizon Zero Dawn, so I'm going to be jumping into that soon.
Nice.
And I started streaming Breath of the Wild on Master Mode, so I'm probably going to be juggling a stream of Horizon Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild Master Mode together. There might be some Call of Duty Zombies at some point as well again, now that I'm a little better at it. So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing recently. Oh, then there's Xenoblade 2, so I don't know, I'll probably stream... I wish I probably need to stream like every day. Yeah. There's too many good games to play. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, Blackstar, sorry for the confusion. I got the I was under the impression that you weren't going to be a part of the discussion because of the whole anime stuff, but just send, for anyone who's interested in guesting on the podcast, right? Just send me like a video of you guys talking about a certain topic, so I can get a sense for, you know, how you speak in discussions and such. So just send us a video of that to let us know, you know, you're interested, and also, you know, how we can see you can fit into the discussion, and I'll figure out what we can do. All right. So aside from that, I guess it's time to get into, I guess, the different topics we have to discuss. So first off, just kind of holiday games in general. Are there any like holiday games that have come out or that are doing really well that have surprised you, Brandon, that you're interested in?
It's holiday games. A bunch of games just came out in November on the Switch. I didn't get like any of them though. I've been so broke. I was just like, I'm just wait for the Black Friday sale, and then I just got things on Steam. So I grabbed Skyrim Special Edition, which was great, and I grabbed what is it? Tomb Raider, the 2013 one, for $4. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna get that. And so I got some games on sale. No Switch games though. It's like there's not that much on sale, and
yeah, so there's a few Switch games that I want to pick up right now. Yeah, me too. Like I said, I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn for $20, which is pretty good. The game's normally selling for $40 right now. And keep in mind, like, that game came out this year. It came out a couple weeks, like a week. It came out a week before Breath of the Wild, right? And that's a big game with a lot of great reviews. It's a really good game, one of the best games on PlayStation 4, and you can already get it for $20. Of course, it's going to go back up to $40 soon, but still, even the fact that you can buy it at $40 is a steal. So I'm getting it at a third of its I'm getting it for $20 instead of $60. which is something I'm kind of used to for like on Nintendo games, especially Nintendo published games. They rarely lose value. They maintain value the entire time, and people kind of complain about this sometimes. But it really just comes down to supply and demand. People still buy the games, therefore they can still sell them at $60. If they stop selling at $60, then they lower the price. It's really that simple. So when we see other games like Horizon Zero Dawn lowering in price, I'm not saying like I haven't even looked into the sales figures for Horizon Zero Dawn, but in general, the games are not selling as well on other consoles compared to the Nintendo Switch. Yeah. Which kind of, I guess, leads us into the bigger topic is that Switch sales. So what like a lot of games are selling really well on Switch. Overall, Switch sales I think are pretty much trumping everything. Well, Nintendo sales I should say, right? So what's going on here? What does this mean? And what about other games that are not doing so well? Like for example, Battlefront. Like Brandon, I know you actually recently put up a news video about it before this discussion. So if anyone's watching who hasn't seen it, check it out. The link for Brandon's channel should be in the description, and if not, just Google or search "What About Nintendo," one word, you'll find it. So yeah, what do you know, Brandon?
You were talking about the the sale. Okay.
I kind of talked about multiple things at once. Sorry. Okay. So I did. Sorry, that's my bad. So one, I guess, like, what do you think about Switch sales and I guess Nintendo sales in general during this holiday season so far? Right, and then I guess we could talk about Battlefront a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, so I made a video about a projection from an analyst that said that the Switch is on target to sell 20% more than the Wii did in its first 10 months. So the Switch's first 10 months versus the Wii's first 10 months, the Switch would sell 20% more. And, like, I don't doubt it. Like, the Switch has been doing well. We already knew, like, when the Switch launched, it had a better launch month than the Wii did. It's been consistently selling faster than the Wii, so it's not surprising to me when I hear people say that, you know, the first year is going to be, or the first about 10 months is going to be better than the Wii, because so far it's been growing faster. The thing I'm more interested in how it's going to do in its second year, because that's when the Wii really exploded. Yeah. But then again, we have Nintendo wanting to make 30 million, which is 10 more. I think it's like 6 to 10 more million than the Wii sold. So
yeah,
definitely on track to do really good.
I want to add to that, but just for a second, what's up, Flames Knight? So we don't actually know when the Direct is happening yet, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in the next topic, but there has been a slot opened on Nintendo Direct's website that suggests that a new Nintendo Direct is coming. This happens every time right before a Nintendo Direct, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I mean, I agree, Brandon, that like it really does look like they're setting themselves up to sell a lot next year, and it's not just about the systems, which they may be close to 50 million by the end of next fiscal year, but it's the fact that the software sales have been amazing. So what's going to happen when the software sales can be even greater, because there'll be that much more Switches out there, right? Because right now the Switch, you know, is like, what is it at, like 8 or 9 million right now? Something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
I mean, it might even be exploding now. Now that Black Friday has passed, we haven't gotten the numbers from that yet, I imagine. So,
it has the potential to be around 10.
Right. So
I think they said it was at almost 8 back in September. So
imagine how much better software sales are going to be come next holiday season when the Switch has when there's like 4 times as many Switches out there, maybe close to 5 times as many Switches out there, and with Pokemon, like that is going to be really impressive. And as you actually brought up in your news video, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon is selling really, really well on the dying 3DS system, and those games are basically just kind of slightly upgraded versions from the games that came out last year. So imagine a Pokemon game made for the Nintendo Switch, a true home console Pokemon game on the Switch, which is, in terms of software sales, is just doing so much better than everything else. Like, I don't know exactly what to expect next year. We can get into predictions and such, but it's looking like things are setting up for an incredible sales year next year. I mean, this year is really good. Next year, it's looking like it's going to be even better by a long shot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's insane how well the attach rate is for games on the Switch. It is way higher than that of the PS4 and the Xbox One. I mean, the PS4 has what, like 50 million units out there, and typically a good game on there sells 1 to 2 million units, or maybe a little bit more if it's a really good selling game. But the typical average good selling game, just a couple million, which is a very low attach rate. The Switch, I mean, it's selling, on par with all these PS4 and Xbox One games, and it only has, top 10 million units right now, I expect. So, and then you got to combine that with the Xbox One, too, because you got the PS4 and Xbox One, you got the multi-platform games coming out, and the Switch is keeping up with all those, too. So people are really, really getting into the software that's on the Switch. So they're just buying it up. So if they can get more units out there, it could be a potential, you could start seeing games starting to sell 30, 40 million units in a couple of years if they're, big AAA first-party Nintendo games. Could just start selling really, really well, just like on the Wii, when like Super Mario Bros. Sold like 30, 40 million on the Wii.
So here's the thing that's kind of worrying me, though. It's not worrying me, but let me get to the point. So I'm noticing certain trends from Sony that seem to be combative towards Nintendo, and naturally so. It's a competitive market. You need to do what you need to succeed. But here's the thing: crossplay is available on Rocket League for the Switch, PC, and Xbox, but not on the PlayStation. Why? Well, here's an example. Today I was talking with some of my friends, letting them know, I was like, hey, look, I have a Switch and a PS4 now. And they were talking about playing NBA 2K. I was like, oh, you should pick it up. And they're like, yeah, I plan on picking up NBA 2K, but not for my PS4, for my Nintendo Switch, because I can take it everywhere with it. And it's basically the same game on either console. It's just it's portable on the Switch. But the difference is, I have a lot of friends who have it on PlayStation. So here's the thing. If there was crossplay, no matter what, I would be getting it on the Nintendo Switch. But because there's no crossplay, I have a lot of friends that would prefer if I were to get it for my PlayStation 4. So they can play with me. If crossplay was an option, I wouldn't be getting it on PlayStation 4, which is less money on the PlayStation side of things. So there's that argument to be made there, and that's one of the reasons why you could make the argument why Sony's not going for crossplay, because people won't get their games on their system because of that. They go like, oh, well, if I don't have to get on the PS4, I don't have to. Right? Yeah, apparently Blackstar Dude is saying that he thought Rocket League did crossplay on the PS4. From what I heard, that is not the case. Brandon, do you have any?
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like a headline that they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing crossplay with pretty much any game. Minecraft, not NBA, not a Rocket League, pretty much nothing. They're not having anything to do with crossplay.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of it's unfortunate in a way, right? Because like if there was crossplay, I'd be so happy to get NBA 2K on my Switch. Now I have no idea. I mean, maybe I think I'm still gonna end up getting it on Switch, but it's just kind of one of those things where like it would have been nice to play with my friends. I could technically get on PS4, but I don't. I want to be able to play it like it's a good game to have like in my hands, especially since NBA 2K is not even like a graphically intensive kind of game. So like.
No.
To just be able to play.
It looks pretty much the same. It looks almost completely the same, other than 30 frames per 60. It's almost exactly the same.
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, the thing is, to NBA games in general, like I think most sports games in general, like I never really care for the graphics because they pretty much look only slightly better every year. So that's not really a big deal for me.
Yeah, they don't really. Sports games aren't known to push systems.
No, but regardless. I think we're seeing a situation where there's going to be more combative things done. Like, for example, Horizon Zero Dawn is $20! Breath of the Wild, there's like a special edition selling for $100! So it's kind of an interesting contrast there. And, of course, you can buy Breath of the Wild for $60, but you still have to pay $60 for it. Still. And it's going to be still for a long time. That's not going to change. And it's still going to sell. The game's still selling well. It's maintaining strong sales throughout the year. Not like top of the charts, but it's been up there this entire time, right? So, I don't know, the Switch sales are just really good, software sales are really good, and since a lot of third-party games are now moving over to the Nintendo Switch, as we all said it was going to happen eventually, all those games are selling better on the Switch. Like, we even heard that apparently Wolfenstein 2 hasn't sold too well on the other consoles, so they're, Bethesda's probably hoping that, hey, hopefully this thing sells on the Switch, and I think it might. I haven't seen the sales numbers for Doom or Skyrim yet, but it seems pretty promising. Like a lot of people are talking about Doom and Skyrim, so I wonder how well those games are selling, right? And I'm sure Bethesda's really happy about the additional sales.
Yeah, I have a little bit of insight on Doom because I've been kind of checking up on seeing how it is selling on the eShop. It has been consistently saying around the the top 5, or at least it was. I haven't checked on it in about a week, but it was consistently staying at like the number 4 spot, even though there was like Mario Odyssey and stuff in there. So, but it's been doing well, at least on the eShop. So it's been doing good. I definitely think Wolfenstein's gonna sell better on the Switch. I mean, they came out on the same day as Assassin's Creed Origins and Mario Odyssey. Like, there was no way that game was gonna do good. But you know, it's gonna be selling in the spring. Typically, the spring isn't that big for video games. So there's going to be probably maybe a tiny bit of a dry spell. You know, Wolfenstein's going to, I think it's going to fit in great.
And,
do that. Also, I'd like to, what?
Go on.
Oh, I'd like to point out that the special edition of Zelda is only $60, and it comes with a poster. And
okay, my bad. I was wrong about that. It's $60. Yeah.
Which made me kind of mad, because I was like, I just paid $60 for this game a couple months ago, and they didn't give me nothing.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, man.
Hold on, I have a special box. I still have this box right here.
Did you get the special edition version?
Yeah, I got the special edition, you know.
They were all sold out where I was.
The box. Right, but I still have this.
Yeah, they didn't even
poster. You know, I have this
they didn't
poster
even
right here. You got the poster.
Yeah, that's not fair.
You know,
I have my Zelda poster
you got
around
both
here
sides
somewhere.
like that.
Oh, here it is.
And then of course, like, I had gotten a Switch case, right? Yeah, I have those two posters over there too. I don't know if you can see on my camera. You can.
I have this. Mine got a little wrinkled from the heat.
Oh, yours is a little bent.
See.
And I have a coin.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna look through that right now. This is not. There's an unboxing video for this a long time ago.
This is show off all my cool Breath of the Wild stuff. This show off all my Breath of the Wild stuff segment.
Yeah.
Got some amiibos over there. I can bring them.
Yeah. Giant Link statue in the back. You know, Master Sword in my pants.
Right over there.
Yeah, but you know, things have been pretty good in terms of Switch sales. I think it's been pretty promising.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Battlefront though. So apparently the sales aren't too good with Battlefront, right? And
no,
a lot of that probably has something to do with this whole debacle about pay to win and getting rid of all of the loot and such that you can purchase with the game, and this whole like partnership with Walt Disney. Like, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. But in a way, I think this is good news though. It's bad news for the sales of that game, but it's good news because it's a demonstration that the consumers don't want, you know, games like that.
Yeah.
We don't want the pay-to-win strategy. Like, it's not working, right? And here EA was probably thinking, oh, let's just maximize our sales potential to the max. But the irony of the situation is by setting up the game in that way, they actually killed their sales potential. So, it's interesting, and I hope that, you know, more developers are more conscientious. It's not even the developer's fault, it's the publisher's fault. The publisher just, you know, they just think about numbers, and it's just all a bunch of old businessmen and, you know, stock investors and such, and they're just looking at the numbers and they're just like, this will make more money. This needs to be in the game. This will make more money. This needs to be in the game. This game needs to have multiplayer because the numbers show that makes more money. So different things like that's why EA, the way EA is run, the people who are empowering EA aren't thinking like a gamer. They're not thinking about making the best experience. They're thinking about making the most money, you know? So that's why this whole EA thing is really poor. They probably need to change management, or there needs to be some serious changes with upper management, basically. Otherwise, they may not. They're probably. I mean, they're still making money. You know, they're still making money, so maybe they won't change. But if they want to increase their sales potential and not, you know, become considered just hated by everyone, they probably need to start changing around their image really quick. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
It's very interesting. I was so excited for this game when I played the beta because it looks great, it played great. There weren't really any need to do microtransactions because, you know, it was a beta that people hadn't, you know, had time to go out and, you know, buy the game. You weren't really thinking of progression. You were just thinking of, you know, in the moment having fun. So in that way, the game was amazing. And then I had all these loot crates, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not getting the game anymore. There's no way I'm buying a $60 game and then just being like, getting utterly destroyed unless I play the game 24/7 for weeks on end to get good, to unlock everything.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, I don't have time to spend that much, time in the game in order to unlock everything, because they took out the microtransactions, but they didn't actually make it that much quicker to unlock things. So it still takes forever to unlock anything. So it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate how maybe the core mechanics of the game are great, but the way they expand the game, the way you progress throughout the game and such, that's what kind of has ruined it. And that's something that you could easily be remedied by, slightly changing that structure.
You could just put an update in it, it would fix
it. They literally could patch the game into being better, which is funny.
Mm-hmm. And then it'd be a great game, and I recommend people buy it until they put microtransactions back in it, if they end up doing, because they did say they might. But until then, I mean, it's a great game. It's just
now the game's not selling well, they might need the microtransactions. It's weird. It's kind of like a catch-22.
It's so dumb, because that game was set up for success. Everyone's looking forward to the new movie. The first one's so great. The second one looked like it was going to be even better. That game would have sold gangbusters if they just not put in microtransactions. And they put them in there, and now it's...
Well, it's just kind of like the way they structured the entire game. It was built to just take money.
Around
I'm not saying you can't have microtransactions, but the way you have to structure, you can't be like... You can't make people who don't want to buy it feel, like they're left out. Like... That is bad. People are already paying $60 for this game. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. So they pay $60. There shouldn't be this expectation that they need to pay more to get a quality enjoyment out of the game. Think about that for a second. So if you pay $60 for a game, you jump into the game, and immediately you feel like you're at a serious disadvantage because you don't want to put down even more money. Right? Like that, you shouldn't have to feel that way after buying a new game. That's a huge problem. It's one thing for the game to be set up in a way where you can get more money, where you can put in more money later and enjoy the game. But if you can't fully enjoy the game from after buying the whole game, that's a problem. So the way like Nintendo's handling their DLC right now, like there's a whole game to play. There's a whole game to enjoy. And whatever DLC they're including is sort of an expansion of that. Now, some people may have a problem with that, but like I personally don't. And whatever they're doing, it's a far cry from. It's like literally the two opposite sides of the spectrum here, So I just hope that more companies become more aware of how bad that is. And really, it's not the developers, it's not the gamers, it's the publisher, right? It's the people who don't really think about games.
It's the corporate people at EA.
Right, exactly. So hopefully this issue becomes so apparent that even the corporate guys in the suits who don't understand video games or understand that this is not going to fly, Which is something I have a problem with. I've always had a problem with people who are running high corporation companies who don't actually understand the product and the industry of the product. Like, what?
It's a problem.
What? Like, I think it's dumb that you are investing in a company that you don't understand, right? But when you're an investor, you see the world in a completely different way. You just see the numbers of the money being made and being lost, and that's the only thing you pay attention to. So, just kind of a disconnect.
To be a good investor, you need to know what the people want. You need to know what you're investing into so you can be better at it.
Well, to play devil's advocate, there is the argument that if you just pay attention to the numbers, you are setting yourself up to be more successful because you're less biased. But on the same token, if you don't understand how an industry works, you may make a decision, like with what would happen with Battlefront, where the game is not going to be considered fun by many people. So,
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to be a gamer. I just think you have to know what people want.
Right.
Because if you don't know what people want, you're just blindly guessing. You're just throwing stuff into the dark. You're shooting in the dark, and you don't understand anything. So, I mean, you don't have to be a gamer who plays games all the time in order to invest in a gaming company. You just kind of have to know your way. You don't have to know the ropes. You have to know your way
I think you should be savvy enough to realize that mobile games aren't the only kind of games out there. Right? But there are some people who would only look at it's like mobile games sell so much and they're so cheap to make. You should only do this. There are actually, in fact, Nintendo's stock dropped at one point because they revealed the Switch and all these awesome core games because it wasn't a focus on mobile gaming, so their stock dropped.
Yeah.
Investors were like, what the hell is this? This doesn't make the most money possible.
Pretty much.
Right? Which, in retrospect, is pretty dumb by them, because the Switch is putting itself in an incredible position. So, yeah, it's kind of funny how it all works. So, I guess, whatever. It's time to move on to Nintendo's, the other topic I want to talk about, and that's the Nintendo Direct that's potentially incoming. But first off, shout out to Sun Gohan. How you doing, bro? So, Brandon, I'm sure a lot of you have already noticed or heard that there is a slot that's opened up. Like, if you check the Nintendo Direct website and such, they have slots for the different Nintendo Directs, and typically when a new Direct is coming soon-ish, right? There's emphasis on soon-ish because there's a bit of a window there. Whenever a slot opens up, a new Nintendo Direct will replace that slot. So then, now that a new slot has opened up, the talk is already beginning that a new Nintendo Direct could be coming soon. Now, if you've been following Nintendo over the last few years, you know that they always have a big Nintendo Direct in either late December or early January to talk about, the plans they have for the whole year, or at least for the next 6 months, It's like a big Direct with tons of games. It's like a secondary E3, So, is that what we're seeing here? Is this opened up slot something about that? Or is it a reference to perhaps a smaller Direct? Maybe something like a Breath of the Wild Direct? What are your thoughts, Brandon?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there will be a Breath of the Wild Direct. They didn't do one for the first, the first section of the DLC. I don't think they'll do one for the second. Although the second one does seem to be a lot bigger.
Right, exactly. The first DLC pack didn't need it. Yeah. It was a part of it. It was inside a Direct. They did talk about within a Direct
afterwards, after they announced everything.
But it wasn't the sole it wasn't the only part of the Direct, right? But this is a bigger thing.
I personally,
I don't know how much bigger. We don't know how much bigger this is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a big January or December Direct, in my opinion. I don't see what else it would be. I mean, the next big game coming out for them is Xenoblade. So, and they've already done a Direct on that. They don't need to do another one.
They've done 2 Directs on it, basically, actually.
Right? Because they focus so much on
it had a huge 10-15 minute focus in a Direct that happened a few weeks ago. So then they had another Direct on just Xenoblade. So, yeah.
So I think this is going to be a big January-December event. And I have some ideas about when it could be. So I personally, I don't think they want to overshadow Xenoblade, obviously. They're not going to do one before Xenoblade. They're going to wait till that comes out. Because they don't want to, announce or just, announce some kind of big
Xenoblade's the last big game, right? Everything else has come out. Doom has come out. Skyrim has come out. Obviously, Mario Odyssey. Rocket League has already come out. Yeah. The last big game is Xenoblade 2. Because I remember we had a conversation a few weeks ago where we didn't know the exact release date for Doom, right? It had not been announced yet. We were thinking... We didn't think it would be a week before Skyrim. We were thinking that it would be like sometime in December, since Skyrim was coming out in November. But in actuality, it came out a week before Skyrim. So then, that's it. The only game left is Xenoblade, and it's literally coming out the end of this week. So, I'm
confused about what they were. At this point, I'm wondering what they're thinking, because obviously they have some kind of plan. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done what they did. But why put so many games back to back to back to back to back, where it's so many, people can't even, a lot of people can't even afford to buy all these games that they really want to get. They're having to pick and choose between them because you're putting them so close together, and then you literally just December 1st, and then the entire month we know about nothing. Like, obviously they gotta have something planned other than the Breath of the Wild DLC. Like, that'd be the least amount of content they've had in a month since the launch of the system, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh.
Like, that's not much. So I think we might even... It's strange. We might be seeing this big Direct in December and not January, because a lot of people think it's going to be in January. We might see it in December, because I don't know what they're going to... What do they have for December? They got Xenoblade, which is obviously a huge game. And they have, the Breath of the Wild DLC, but I don't know if anything else.
Well, okay, so here's the thing.
Maybe some indie games or something.
Well, they can... Do you need to have anything in December after that, though? Think about it. So, the first week of December, you have Xenoblade, right? The Game Awards is December 7th, okay? So that's the next week. And the theory is that the Game Awards is when we're going to see Breath of the Wild DLC. Because Breath of the Wild's been showing up at the last few Game Awards. It's expected to get Game of the Year, or at least be in competition for it. And it would be a pretty good moment to show off Zelda one more time with a trailer for the DLC pack, and it would go really well with it being a nomination for Game of the Year. So that's a theory. Okay, but here's the thing. What if this time slot isn't for a Direct, and what if it is for Zelda? Then it may not even be at the Game Awards, and it could be that second week regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it is, what do you think is going to be at the? I guess they'd have.
But here's the other thing, though. The time slot being opening doesn't mean that the Direct has to happen in a week or two. It could be a month from now.
Yeah.
It could be a month from now.
Yeah,
and a month from now would be about time for the Direct. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
The way I see it, sales are going to... Everything's selling really well. This entire period up until after Christmas, sales will be going really... In fact, after Christmas, sales are still strong because people get gift cards, people are on vacation, they have more time. So, basically, not until the new year do sales really start to die down. In fact, I think sales still are pretty strong in early January, right? I have to look at the numbers, but basically sales are really strong all of December.
As far as I know, yeah, all of December, and then early January is like the biggest drop off because everyone just spent off the money.
And so historically speaking, I expect a Direct early January. It could be like the second or the third day of the year. Like early January. In fact, I'm gonna look at a calendar right now. Yeah. So this is the 27th of November.
My thing isn't really a lack of games in December. It's if it's in December, is there going to be a lack of games in January as well? That's my question.
Well,
or are they going to do some surprise releases? Some it's coming out in a week.
Oh, because we don't. Do we know what's supposed to come in January?
No, we know nothing for the end for after December 1st. We know no release dates except Wolfenstein 2 is supposed to come.
Yeah. Oh, Retro Potato. Yeah, that Xenoblade hype. It's coming out next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I'm excited for that game.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't. A Direct could be a little earlier. You're right, because we don't know what's coming in January. They might have this Direct late December to announce the games that could be coming out in January. Whatever the game is, it has to be small, like maybe Kirby or Yoshi.
Yeah. To play devil's advocate to myself, they could announce something at the Game Awards for early January.
They could, I guess. Well, but
yeah.
there are supposed to be game announcements. That's true. So that's a good point, actually. So that could happen. And I could see Kirby or Yoshi. That's like, they're not that big of a deal of a game. That could be something we see. And both of those games are already announced. So yeah, there's no Monster Hunter on Switch. Now, I mean, there's it came out for a 3DS remaster, like an HD version of 3DS game came out in Japan, but it's not coming out in the West.
Is it not at all? I thought it was coming out 2018 sometime. I might be mistaken about that, but I thought it was.
Retro Potato actually brings up a very interesting point. So long, I'll read his comment. See, we need a short lack of games because I'm broke, because there's too many goddamn good games from Odyssey, Doom, Ultra Sun, Xenoblade, etc. We need a small break. I'm right there with you, bro. Like, yeah, I'm still playing Mario Odyssey. I'm still playing Breath of the Wild. I was saying at the beginning of the discussion that I just downloaded Horizon Zero Dawn. I still haven't bought Doom or Skyrim. Like, I'm still playing Call of Duty. Like, there's just so many games. Monster Hunter World is coming out in Japan in January. Like, I still haven't even picked up ARMS. Like, that game came out months ago. There's a whole bunch of new DLC that's coming out, free DLC for Splatoon 2. There's new maps, new content. Like, and then there's a Zelda DLC, right? And then, of course, Xenoblade 2. And that game is massive. It might be the biggest, in terms of story, it might be the biggest Xenoblade game yet from what we're hearing. So there's just so much to go on here, I'm not sure. It's crazy. There's so much to play right now, which is a good thing, right? The choice is a good thing. But yeah, maybe a slow January wouldn't be so bad,
No, I don't think it would. I'm just wondering.
Like a smaller game, something like I think Kirby or Yoshi could do it. Someone brought up maybe the potential of an NES or some sort of retro remix or something like what we saw on the Wii U. So maybe that'd be a good time to throw something out there like that. Maybe a WarioWare compilation, something like that. You know, would be kind of cool. Maybe an HD version of Mario Party Top 100, like that. I wish that came out. That would have. I get that. That'd be pretty cool.
I've heard it's a good game. It's not on the Switch.
Yeah, it's 7.9 out of 10. Too much on 3DS. You know, so
right?
like
too much 3DS, bro.
Right.
Too much 240p.
Yeah, too much for 240p exactly. So I don't know. I would say that it's definitely gonna have. If there is a big direct, like the big direct. I don't know if there may be a smaller direct about Zelda. Right, this time slot is alluding to. But if it's not that, then it's definitely the big direct. And I'm thinking that if it could be late December, but if I had to place my bets, January 3rd. Literally, so the 1st of January, you know, the new year is on a Monday, right? So we'll see an announcement for the direct on the Monday, January 1st. So the beginning of the year, the first day of the year, there will be an announcement for a direct. And then on Wednesday, there will be an explosion of information. We'll see a Metroid Prime 4 trailer. We will see a Pokemon trailer. We will see a Fire Emblem trailer. We will see a Kirby trailer, a Yoshi trailer. And one of those two games will be announced to come out in January. And we'll probably get a Wolfenstein 2 trailer. We might, I don't know what else we might see from third parties. Maybe a Final Fantasy trailer, a Resident Evil trailer, and maybe a Monster Hunter trailer from Capcom as well. So that's a lot of games we may see, but this is. I was thinking about doing a Nintendo Direct predictions video, but we'll save discussion. But we'll save that for probably a few weeks from now. So you know, maybe on Monday we do the discussions on a Monday. So on the 1st, January 1st, we will have a discussion about the Direct once the day it's announced. That'd be interesting, right? So
I disagree.
I
disagree on January 3rd. I think it's gonna be January 5th because the year it was on a Friday and January 5th is a Friday. January 13th was or January 12th. Was it 12th or 13th? Is that the 4th or the 5th? Because it was on a Thursday or a Friday.
The 5th would be a Friday. The 5th would be a Friday. So.
Right, so I think January 13th. Yeah, it was January 12th, right? So Thursday. It would be a Thursday.
So the 4th then. So we might get an announcement on the 2nd.
That's when I ordered my Switch.
So we get an announcement for the Direct on the 2nd or the 3rd.
I don't think they're going to announce it that late. I understand that a lot of Directs are, but I think this Direct is kind of like their big E3 kind of thing. I think they'll announce it like a week or two after Xenoblade. I think they're gonna push out Xenoblade. And I think they're gonna announce it a couple weeks before it comes out. I don't think they're gonna announce it a couple days before it comes out because this is more of a bigger Direct. This is kind of their big. You know, a big kind of their own E3 kind of thing. I don't think they would announce that, you know, like, oh yeah, we're doing that in 2 days. So I don't think they would do that. I mean, they could.
But every single Direct that's ever announced is always announced 2 days before, a day or two before.
But I don't think it's going to be called a Direct. I think it's going to be a presentation, like they did this year.
Like last January with the Switch?
Yeah, reveal. I think it's going to be a presentation. It's going to probably be on the Direct site, but I think it's going to be a presentation. So I don't think it will be you know, announced a couple days. I think it will be announced a couple weeks before. Obviously, it's not going to be announced as early as the other one was, because it's not as. I don't think it's not, you know, unveiling a new system, or, you know, talking about a system you only showed one trailer for. But I think it'll be announced a couple weeks before. I don't think they're going to announce it a couple days because I think it's like their big Direct.
Yeah, yo, Retro Potato just described. Welcome, man. How you doing? So. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I think we're both in agreement though that it's early January, like the first week of January is probably when we're gonna get it because that's the time right after Christmas. Xenoblade 2 will have had its spotlight. Zelda DLC will have had its spotlight. People are gonna be wondering, oh, Nintendo has nothing. Oh, there's nothing for Nintendo. No, January's gonna be the worst month ever. Nintendo doomed. Bullet bills flying from the sky everywhere, and then boom, Nintendo Direct, Metroid, Fire Emblem, Skyrim. Well, okay, not Skyrim, but you know, like tons of games.
Skyrim.
So,
I was just like, oh yeah, Skyrim. Wait, what?
Yeah, they're gonna port Skyrim Switch to make Skyrim Switch 2018.
right? No,
Yeah.
what they're gonna do is they're gonna announce the Elder Scrolls 6 at the January event. It's gonna be Switch exclusive.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
So, I guess we can talk about Xenoblade now, right? So, we've talked about it a little bit already, but this game's coming out on Friday, and I'm really excited for it. I haven't put a pre-order for it. I probably should go do that, like, really soon. So, like...
Oh wow, you haven't pre-ordered it yet?
No,
I pre-ordered it like 2 weeks ago.
I should... Yeah, I know. I just
I have money. I'm pre-ordering the special.
I mean, it's not like I won't be able to get the game, you know? It's not like... Worst case scenario, I would download it digitally, but I'm not going to do that, because that game is huge.
My problem was I didn't want the $100 special edition to sell out, so...
Oh, right, I forgot about No More Heroes. That's supposed to be early 2018 as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it? So they got to show that off at the direct.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
It's going to be some...
Still need to
we're
play
going to hear about that soon, though.
I still need to check out the originals.
Those would be great for HD remakes.
Ooh, yeah.
They would be great. Because they're cel-shaded, they would just easily just add HD textures and lighting, you know, put them all into a compilation, call it a day.
Yeah,
I'd also like to see... I would like to
really
see Bayonetta 1 and 2 ported to the Switch as well. That would be really cool. I actually never played... I always intended on getting them for the Wii U, but I never did. I never got around to it. So, which is a shame, because it's a really good game on the Wii U. I should have gotten that game. I just never got around to it, though. So, man... I can't believe that Bayonetta 2 is such a huge game. I didn't get it on the Wii U. I'm shocked. So
I didn't get it either. It didn't really interest me, to be honest.
Really? Well, I mean, it's hot girls and combat and magic and dragon to death. I mean, it sounds pretty cool to me. So, yeah. So, anyway, Xenoblade, like, we already know the reviews so far. What reviews have we gotten? Like, have you seen any other reviews yet? Or is it just the Famitsu one?
I actually haven't.
Because there's probably an embargo that hasn't dropped yet, so that's why we can't get all the reviews. But from everything we're hearing about the game, so what I've heard is that the game actually, as opposed to like Xenoblade X, and even the original Xenoblade, it's easier to get started. It's easier to get started. The game kind of helps you figure things out quicker. Because I remember even the original Xenoblade, like, there was a lot I had to figure out. Like, there's so much I had to figure out. The game wouldn't tell me all the information. So from what I've heard, Xenoblade 2 does a better job of educating you about the game and how it functions. But it doesn't take too long for the game to really get going and for it to really kick into full gear. Because after that, it basically feels like a Xenoblade sort of structure, except this time, more people will understand how to actually play, right? Which gives you more of an opportunity to delve deeper into what was already a very deep battle system, but this time around, things are even deeper, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Really, I still never...
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Like,
continue.
No, I was just saying that, like, I never even mastered the original Xenoblade engine. I don't think I mastered any of them, like, because there's so much to figure out. Like, as I played the game, it's like, oh, I can do this, oh, I can link combos, you know. It took me a while just to even get good at just linking the triangular, like, team attack, right?
Yeah.
Which are bringing back in Xenoblade 2, so I'm happy for that. They replaced it with Overdrive in Xenoblade X, which I loved. I actually thought Overdrive was really cool.
Actually, I like Overdrive.
I liked it mainly for the music.
My problem with Overdrive was I
liked
had
it
no
for
idea
the
what
music.
it did because they didn't explain to you properly what it actually does.
Well, that is
it's just
true.
like, oh yeah, it does something.
I didn't do a good job of
out.
translating Overdrive into the mechs. Like, I had trouble with the mechs. I was kind of good on foot, but in terms of mech gameplay, I wasn't really good with. I never got a good hang of the combat.
My problem with mechs is that they took a lot out of the battle system with mechs. They don't let you double charge items. They have Overdrive, which confuse. It's confusing as all get out, and it's a lot. And the mechs are so powerful. Like, it gets to a point where you just cannot fight things unless you're in a mech.
Right, in terms of exploration, I think it was really cool. But in terms of combat, I thought it was kind of... it wasn't easy enough for me to really, transition between on foot and then in a mech. But this is
Yeah.
not
And
the
they
case.
didn't have as many positioning arts in the mechs either, like being on the side does more damage or being behind
Yeah.
does more damage. As what I like about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is when I played X, the battle system, you can quickly master it and then just, there's nothing more to it. It's a lot simpler than the original in my opinion, which is good for newcomers, but for me, I already kind of knew how the battle system worked, and I was like, I want some more stuff here. You know, I want to, in that, you know, breaking and toppling wasn't really that big a thing either, so they kind of just made that.
I think they added two
another
more
thing.
different like phases, like with the whole topple and break and stuff. I think there's two more. I don't remember the
I
names
think
of them though.
there's break, topple. Obviously, I think there's days. Which just
There's
makes
days.
topple longer.
Yeah, I think they added two
There's
more actually.
launch. There's launch and there's spike.
There you go. Yeah. And that
So you
doesn't
launch
count
into the
the
air and
fact
spike
that,
it
like,
back down.
so each blade has 3 arts, and you can pick between 3 different blades, right, on the fly. Is that how it works? Or no, each blade has 4
yeah,
arts,
so-
and you can pick between 3 or 4 different blades. That's how it works, right?
Something
Yeah.
like that. I think there are 4 blades with 3 each, and then they all have the special that they have. Their elemental.
And then there's
that you
tag
pick up.
attacks
That's
as well.
That's what it is. That's what it is. There's 4. You have 4 blades that you can switch between. They have 3 arts and 1 elemental.
So regardless,
That
the
you can
system,
pick
the
up.
battle system is somehow easier to use now, but also even deeper, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Apparently, you can get to like any art with like 2 buttons.
Yeah.
So it's like super quick because they're all. When you have a character, you know, it's just up, down, left, right. There's 4 buttons there. A, B, X, Y. And there's 4 arts, or 3 arts of a month that you charge up with the arts. So you can hit everything
Yeah,
with
it
1 button,
definitely
and then you
looks
just
like-
use another button to switch.
Right, it looks like they really matched it up well
Yeah,
with the
that's
controller
easy.
perfectly. The arts, the blades,
Yeah.
like it seems like they handled it perfectly
Just
with the actual
2
controller
buttons
this
to
time.
get to anything.
Yeah.
It's just 1 button to switch blades. And 1 button is a dedicated art. So you don't have to because in the other ones you had to flip through the line, which was kind of annoying, and sometimes you'd accidentally click the wrong one because you flipped too far. So I had that trouble a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but it's nice to see that it's easier to get to things now. Now, my problem is I might forget what arts are on which blade. That's my potential issue with that, is I might forget which arts are on which blade. But I think after a little bit of practice, you probably won't forget that.
Honestly, I'm even more excited for just exploring this game, right? So because there's a whole like in Xenoblade, it was literally the entire world was on 2 giant titans.
Yes.
And it's interesting because I think there's a lot of people that got into Xenoblade with Xenoblade X. I don't even think they realize how much better Xenoblade 2 is going to be, because I love Xenoblade X, but Xenoblade
X is really
Chronicles was better. It was better.
It's
right?
just hands down way better.
It was better because
It was-
the story was a lot more immersive. Even though technically Xenoblade X is more open, the world of Xenoblade is still pretty open, right? The worlds are huge. The areas were huge to explore. Like, remember, this is back on the Wii, right? The Wii, which is like ancient technology. And there's this point where you got to like the woods for not the what are the name of them? The little fur balls. I forgot their names. Slipped my mind.
Nopon.
The Nopon. When you get to the Nopon forest, where you're almost there, right? There's like this giant waterfall basin that's like literally like a mile wide, and you're just looking down, and you're like, "Oh, can I? What if I fall? I'm gonna die, right?" Literally every video game ever made before that game came out, by that point, if you would jump down anything even close, or even half as big as that fall, you would have died. In Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, if you jumped down that giant waterfall basin, you would have gone all the way down into the water, and you would not have died. You would have been you would have been in a different area. You just have
How
to
in
swim.
the hell did they get that game to one of the Wii? Gosh dang!
By
How did that
making
fit in
the
tiny amount of RAM
characters
on that system?
faces extremely blurry, and like every player model looked like a PS2 character or a little worse.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
That
how
game
they did
look
it.
like a PS2.
The environments were great, but the
it did.
characters looked whack. Not whack. They just looked really simple. Not simple. I liked it. I'm just saying it wasn't like very.
It looks good.
It wasn't graphically
looks-
intensive. Like the characters had low textures, really low textures. and like so that kind of helped for
very
the game to
similar
have
animation.
a huge draw distance, a huge world. But
Yeah.
here's the thing that's a little different. This is how I'm
Game is
transitioning into a new
mind-blowing.
topic, but we'll still sort of talk about Xenoblade at the same time. They've sort of slowly gone more anime style. Like in Xenoblade X, they started using more Japanesey kind of music. A lot of the characters they were sort of like a hybrid of realistic but anime-ish at the same time, which is kind of weird for some people. And now in Xenoblade 2, they've gone full-on cel-shaded characters, basically anime-style characters, kind of like Fire Emblem. And I think that's a good way to have characters that aren't too graphically demanding, but also at the time look really good and will appeal to a lot of people. And then you could also have like a very anime-ish sort of like campaign, which is something that's interesting to me, Brandon, because I know you love the story in Xenoblade Chronicles, right? But you tell me you don't like anime. But here's the thing, man. If you were to watch a good anime, you'd realize that like the story you saw in Xenoblade is basically the kind of stories you get in some really good anime. So, I'm just saying, man, like, maybe you don't realize you like anime yet.
I think that might be the case, because there's... My problem is that I've never seen a good anime. The only anime that I've seen is the Pokemon anime, and I was, like, super young, and I did not know what the heck was happening, and I was just like, this is weird, I don't know what this is. And that's, like, tainted my view of anime for, like, my entire life. So I've never gotten into anime, and I've never really been told which animes to get into, so I just don't really have a good starting point to get into anime. So I think I would like it. I just don't...
Okay, so here's the thing.
So much choices.
Here's the thing. I hope that I can play the game in Japanese when it comes out, and then there'll be English subtitles for Xenoblade 2. Because I prefer... Yeah, no, you're right. That's right. That's one of the things they confirmed. Because they understand... They confirmed that the game has a lot of anime influence. Xenoblade 2 has tons of anime influence, and if you're an anime fan, you'll probably really assimilate to that. So, what I'm getting at, Brandon, is I think you actually deep down like anime, you just don't know it yet. Yeah. There are some really good animes out there. It's hard to tell you like a good one to get started with, but I'll suggest a few right now. But we're going to focus on Xenoblade for this discussion, but just to bring up a few good animes. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Not...
I've heard that's good.
Brotherhood.
Not the normal.
That's a director's cut that follows an actual main story, right?
Right in there.
Attack on Titan. If you watch the first couple seasons, I think you'll think that's really good. Those are some more serious-centric animes. If you look up Re:Zero, I think that's a really good one. Obviously, Naruto, if you skip the fillers, that's a really good one. One Piece is a really good one. There's a lot, but those are some good animes you should check out. So I would look into Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood first, and Attack on Titan. Check out those, and then do your homework, and maybe if you hate those, then maybe you just hate anime. But, you know.
Yeah, but I would like to say I love the character designs in this game.
Yeah.
Like, they're really good.
And
I did not like them in
straight
X.
up anime style.
I did. Yeah. The X ones looked so ugly, in my opinion. They were terrible. Especially their hair. It had, like, the same problem with Xenoblade, the original one, where they had, like, paper hair.
Yeah. It was a little weird.
I didn't like... The Xenoblade Chronicles 2, even though technically the character models aren't, like, as graphically intense, possibly, than X, they look 10 times better. They don't have clipping and different issues like that. They look super nice and like super clean, like they were really.
So here's the thing, actually, about Xenoblade X, though, right? So all the characters looked kind of weird, like they didn't seem to have evoked that much emotion. But here's the thing, though. Now this is a spoiler for Xenoblade X. You get at least halfway through the game, there's a huge, huge revelation. Everyone in the game is actually a robot. Everyone in the game is actually a robot. So, like their consciousness were uploaded into robots, right? And then their real bodies are actually somewhere. You find that out later in the game. And then there's a whole debate if they're actually the real people that are in the pods, or if they're a whole new consciousness in these robots. But that's besides the point. They're actually all technically robots, or androids, however you look at it. So technically, the reason they look they look kind of lifeless, right, and seem like kind of awkward looking, is because they're actually robots. It's not because the designs are terrible. It's because they're actually robots. So
I still think it's because the designs are terrible, but I mean, it kind of works out.
It's a really good explanation, though, right? It's a really
good excuse.
It's a really good excuse.
Really good excuse. But,
yeah.
I mean, it works out. I don't think that's why they look like that.
I think it is, actually.
I think they just know. But I mean, you can believe that if you want. If it makes you feel better.
I do believe that. I do agree. The designs are they could have overlooked that detail even if that was actually the intention and made them a little bit more lifeful. Yeah, we're talking about
Katsumi,
Xenoblade right now.
Xenoblade hater.
We're kind of jumping in between Xenoblade and the influence of anime on games. So like, I'm just kind of saying to Brandon that if you enjoy the story of Xenoblade, you're secretly an anime fan because the Xenoblade story is hugely influenced by anime style, you know? And in fact, since we're on the subject, Fire Emblem is straight up anime style. Like, the character designs, all of it. People love it, man. It's, like, super awesome. I think the problem is that if you live in the West, right, and you're introduced to anime that's, like, dubbed in English, the thing is that Toei or whatever, a lot of times they change, like, the way they speak, the dubbing, and they gear it towards children, but animes aren't always designed for children. They're sort of designed for a slightly more mature audience, right? So a lot of meaning is lost when they're translated into English a lot of the time. So a lot of people watch it and they're just like, oh, this is so childish and awkward, like why the hell would I care about this, right? Another thing is that since it is Japanese, some of the customs and culture are a little off-putting to someone who's not used to it as well. So, but once you get past that, then, you know, it's kind of like, you realize, oh, this is actually a really good story. Oh, like, this, watching the progression of this character is really awesome. So, but that's the thing, a lot of people aren't used to it because of those things I described. But in video games, I think it's really cool to have anime style, because one, it helps to have really good stories, but also to create really good-looking characters that are really good at evoking emotion. Like what we're seeing with Xenoblade 2. Like what we've seen with The Wind Waker. You know, like, yeah, the Wind Waker style is different, but at the same time, there's inspirations taken from it. The same thing with Breath of the Wild. You know, it's inspired by an anime-style sort of visual depiction. What was the actual, like, influence? An old anime movie. I forget the name of it.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Actually, so Kimishima's talking about he doesn't like Xenoblade? What? Kimishima!
He doesn't pay attention to it. He just looks at it and calls it anime trash without even watching. He's just like, that's obviously
He says, I'm fine with Pokemon and Goku anime. I love how you call it Goku anime. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, I was actually just saying...
There's no way you don't like Xenoblade. I mean, come on. It's possible. Everybody would like Xenoblade.
I think sometimes you should give it a chance. I think Xenoblade is one of the best games that's available on Nintendo. It's right up there with Mario and Zelda, but because it hasn't had the opportunity to prove itself to everyone yet, it's really that good. You should really give it a shot. In terms of anime style, like I was saying, I think a lot of people who aren't used to anime sometimes are thrown off by the fact that the way they're usually Americanized or localized is for children when the animes originally weren't even meant for children, so a lot of meaning is lost. But also, yeah, there are some Japanese cultures and customs that may seem a little odd to you, like how they always say san or chan at the end of like words, just kind of the way they speak and refer to people. So, but I just think if you give it a try, you may find yourself really enjoying it. I actually recommended some animes to Brandon, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Re:Zero, Attack on Titan. If you check on some of those, you might find you actually really like anime. Another really good one is, what's it called? It's really popular. I'm forgetting the name of it. Whatever. I don't remember.
I don't know.
It'll come up. No, Sword Art Online. If you check out Sword Art Online, I think you'll really relate to that because that's also about MMOs. It's really cool. Yeah, actually, Retro Potato took the words right out of my mouth. Sword Art Online is a really good anime. Yeah, really good anime. Of course, you know, there's also Dragon Ball Super is pretty fun to watch. Naruto is a really good anime. If you skip the fillers, there's tons of fillers, which makes it a problem. One Piece I really enjoy. Bleach is okay. Fairy Tail is okay. One Punch Man is a short, really good anime. There's a lot out there. So, whatever. Check out this discussion at some point if you want to go back and see one of those animes. Hero Academia, super good. Super good. But, you know, I'm just saying, like, a lot of Nintendo games are Japanese style, right? So a lot of animes
Yeah,
are
I
Japanese
mean, they're
style. A
Japanese
lot of Sony PlayStation games are from Japanese developers. These Japanese developers know what they're doing, man. Japanese like artists are really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's even better when you combine the West and Eastern philosophies and you have like these really awesome games. Like look at Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild takes like inspiration from all different cultures and sorts of video games, and it's like this culmination of what is possible when different artists work together, you know? Obviously it's mostly Japanese developers who made that game, but they took a lot of inspiration from Western games as well. So I think a lot is possible.
Yeah.
It's really special. But on to Xenoblade, right? Xenoblade's a really special game. You should totally give it a chance. I think the first Xenoblade to me was one of the best games on Wii, right? So like,
yeah,
there are Nintendo systems that have like there are certain games that those games like really remind me of that time, like the best of that time. For the Nintendo 64, it was Ocarina of Time, Smash Brothers, Mario 64, Wave Race, F-Zero. Right on the GameCube, it was Sunshine, Metroid Prime, you know, Melee, Resident Evil 4, Wind Waker. On the Wii, it was Galaxy, right? It was maybe Wii Sports, Twilight Princess, maybe Donkey Kong Country Returns. But I think the game that was the kind of newest experience for me that was super epic and super grandiose that was on the Wii was Xenoblade. And back then when it came out, it was like considered to be the best Japanese RPG of the generation. And Xenoblade 2 is a true sequel to Xenoblade. So we're getting the sequel to the best Japanese RPG of that time. So this is gonna be great. It's gonna be way better than Xenoblade X. And Xenoblade X was a good game.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
I think this is so special.
I definitely agree. Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles is probably one of my favorite games of all time. Almost definitely my top 10. In fact, I'm pretty sure I made a video at one point early on my channel and I put it in my top 10. A lot of games come out by now, so I don't know how it fits in anymore. But that game has my favorite story of any video game ever. I didn't realize how great a video game story could be until I haven't played the game that much. I have played it some, but I did not completely play it myself. I actually watched Chugga Conroy play it because by the time I learned of it, I didn't have a Wii anymore. I did play it some on my friend's Wii, but that game had my favorite story of any video game ever. I didn't realize how good the stories could be. And when X came out and they started talking about like not focusing on story and they started, you know, mostly about, you know, exploring the world, which is great, but I feel like a lot was lost there, especially when you just have a normal planet and you don't have titans. I feel like there were way more varied environments in the original. The X only had four environments.
You gotta give Xenoblade X some credit though. Like the worlds were pretty interesting though. Like
they were decently interesting. I just don't think they were as interesting as the first one.
Right,
they were good. It's a great game.
It's not
absolutely amazing.
It's
game.
not as crazy to think that this entire cave you're in is the belly of a giant titan. That's true, right? Or like when you're running across this giant sprawling field and you're actually running across the knee of a giant titan, right? Or when you're on top of this giant like basin filled with all these colorful forests and ponds and lakes, and that's actually the very head of a titan. Like, yeah, in that sense, it's a little different. I want to point out some things in the comments though.
All right.
The Retro Potato, welcome for joining, man. Yeah, check out the Discord. But also, I saw your comment about that you actually were being sarcastic about Sword Art Online. To your point, I do think that the beginning of Sword Art Online is really good, but it does get kind of wishy-washy afterwards. So yeah, I see what you're saying at least. So yeah, and also Son Gohan, he said he played Breath of the Wild in Japanese with the English subs, and he thinks the voices are really awesome. It was actually a point I was trying to make during the stream, is that if you're used to like reading subtitles and listening to different languages, that way I think is better, because the thing is, you can hear it as it was intended, and like the meaning like of the voice, like the intonation, like the tone, I think it sounds more appropriate. And the thing is, in English, like there's some moments in Breath of the Wild where it felt like the voiceovers, there were a lot of awkward points in it. I was like, what? Like, why was it the delay there? Why did they pause there? Why did he say it in that way? So I think some of the meaning is lost when they translated it over. Just, you know, keep that in mind. But yeah, Xenoblade's great. I can't wait, and I'm gonna play it in Japanese probably. Just so we know. Yeah.
I was gonna say something, but I don't quite remember what it is. It was about X. I seriously don't remember what it was. It was something important, but I don't remember what it was. It's so annoying. But yeah, you can listen to it in dual audio, which might be another reason why I never really got into animes, because I don't really like dual audio. But I mean, it's an option.
Yeah, I think if you watch a lot of anime, you'll get used to listening and watching while reading simultaneously. Once you get used to it, it's actually pretty easy. But I think there's a lot of people who aren't used to that. I've noticed that. I prefer to watch even movies with subtitles because I want to make sure I hear every word that's said. Like, just even like English American movies, like I like subtitles because sometimes when people speak in movies, I don't hear everything perfectly, right? And when you see the subtitles, you can see everything clearly, and no meaning is ever lost. I prefer it that way personally, but I know there's a lot of people that are just not used to it. But if you get used to it, it actually is better, I think, because you never lose any meaning ever. So yeah, actually, your waifu trash. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Retro Potato saying you prefer subtitles as well. So yeah, guys, you know, you can play Xenoblade however you like, but I'm just saying this game is going to be really good, and I think the fact that it has a lot of anime influence only makes it better. So I'm excited for it, for sure. For sure.
Oh, yeah, I remember what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that I really liked the British actors in the original Xenoblade, and I'm so glad that they're using British actors for the English version, even the North American.
Yeah, right, because we're fans of that now. That's true. It'll remind me more of the original Xenoblade, because if they bring in like American actors, they'll be like, oh, this is not the same. I hear what you're saying, actually. That's a good point. Yo, I think I'm losing you. Can't hear you.
No. I muted my mic because somebody's trying to barge in my room. It's really annoying. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, we're almost done with the discussion, actually. So, I guess since it's getting close to calling it, this discussion is a little shorter than usual. It's still over an hour, which is like really long. But is there any like final thoughts you have on Xenoblade? I think I'm gonna try to have a story that I'm not sure, so don't hold me to it. But I'm working on a video, I think, about like the overarching story of the Xenoblade world going into Xenoblade 2. So I think that might be a good thing for people to watch to kind of get everyone prepared for Xenoblade 2. That's what I'm thinking. Otherwise, I'm just going to get myself geared up because I'm really prepared and amped to explore all these giant titans with these huge, beautiful, colorful worlds and just blow my mind. I can't wait. And it's gonna take me forever to finish that game, probably.
I absolutely can't wait. I also noticed that Metacritic has a countdown. It's 3 days, 3 hours, and 9 minutes, and that's awesome. I love countdowns. But I cannot wait for this game. Obviously, I bought the $100 special edition. I'm into this game. It's a true sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. It's once again story focused. It's back on Titans. There's just so much to love about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 over X. Even though I thought X was a great game, I'd probably give it an 8 or 9 out of 10. Awesome game.
8.5.
Probably my favorite game on the Wii U. Yeah,
8.5.
Probably one of my favorite games on the Wii U. Great game. But it was nothing compared to the original. The original was just mind-blowing.
And like I said before, I think a lot of people who are newer to
one.
Xenoblade don't understand how good Xenoblade 2 is going to be because it's more of a success for the Xenoblade rather than X. X was kind of like a diversion, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to go back to that style, but on a grander scale, more appropriately done, with less blurry characters, which is going to be greatly appreciated. So, yeah. Oh, Kimishima is saying, I guess this is a preference, but I do not enjoy games where I need to press an icon to shoot my gun or swing a sword.
I don't understand that, because it's a real-time game. The thing is, it's pretty much the same.
Though, in Xenoblade 2, you literally press your arts now, and you do the art. Right?
Yeah,
so,
it's pretty much the same as like Zelda, but there's icons showing what you're gonna do.
It's a little different. It's a little different.
It's a little different, but
but when you press an icon, it does the art. So there's an auto attack that's happening, but you're constantly moving around, changing around different options and blades. And so it's all happening in real time. It's not slow and turn-based. And when you press an art now, and you have like 12 different, between the blades and the arts, there's like 12 different arts to press, it does the art as you press it. So it's like pressing an action, like a sword swing or a jump. But there are some automated parts. Don't get me wrong; it is an RPG, but a lot of it is still in real time, and you're doing action movements, and you have to be quick. It's not. It's intense. When you get into it, you realize the Xenoblade engine. There's a lot to be paying attention to. In fact, I can make the argument that it's actually a lot more intensive than Zelda. So.
Oh yeah, I'd agree. Way more.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I understand there's a bit of a preference, but this is not a slow, turn-based RPG. Don't get the wrong impression. Xenoblade is a lot more demanding. It's in real time. There's a lot more going on. There's a bit more to it than that. But maybe there's going to be a demo. So, you know, if you've never tried Xenoblade, I'm not going to tell you to put down $60 for a game you're not sure you're going to even like. But maybe play a demo of it and see if you're going to like it then. Oh, look, Sean's here. Monolith Gaming. He's asking, is this no longer considered a podcast? I just call it a discussion. Keep it simple. It is a discussion. That's what it is. It is a discussion. If you want, you can download the MP3 and take it on your phone or whatever and listen to it as if it were a podcast. You can call it a podcast if you like. It doesn't matter. Labels, why are they important? Like, what does it matter?
Right.
All right, Retro Potato. Thanks for coming, man. Welcome. Glad you're around now. I'll see you soon. Yeah. NSP is done now. I mean, think about it though.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon was never a part of the original NSP crew. Everyone else is sort of parted ways. So you know, I figure it's just better to it's just me and Brandon having a discussion. And if anyone wants to else join us, they can. You know, if they have set up, you know, if they're like a channel and such, and they can communicate and stuff. So, like I said in earlier on, if anyone's interested in guesting, you know, and you haven't seen you like do any sort of presentation or commentary on YouTube, send me a video of you doing that so we can see how you could fit in to the discussion if anyone is interested in being a guest. So, yeah. Sean, you're actually coming in at the end of the discussion here because we're pretty much done. Yeah. We've talked about different things, and you know, I guess this is it. We're calling it a night, actually. So, yeah. Is there any final thoughts you have, Brendan? Anyone in the chat? If you got any final thoughts or any conversation you want to talk about before we call it a night?
I'm just super excited. Like, it's hard to contain myself at points. Like, I've been doing so much, you know, coverage of this game and just like stuff about how I'm excited about the game. People have actually started accusing me of just like sort of bandwagoning on it, or like making content only because it's getting views. And it's like, no, I'm just that excited that I just want to make a bunch of content on this game. I'm not milking the name because it gets me views, even though it does get me some views. But I seriously do really enjoy this series.
Well, yeah, Brandon loves Xenoblade for sure. He pre-ordered that game a long time ago, so he's definitely talking about because he loves it. But here's the thing, though: you're a journalist in a way. You are a journalist. You're an independent video journalist. So what that means is that you're going to cover things when they're relevant. Guess what is relevant right now? Xenoblade 2. It's the next big Nintendo game. The next big Nintendo game that deserves to be in the same breadth of conversation as Breath of the Wild, as Mario Odyssey, as Metroid Prime 4. And the fact that it's coming out the same year as Zelda and Mario is actually crazy, and not as many people realize this. That's the thing that really gets at me. Not as people realize, hey, there's another game that's just as huge or big as Mario or Zelda. But it's right here, right now. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait. And yeah, whatever. Who cares what people think? There's gonna be tons of commenters. They're gonna say all sorts of weird things. What's funny though, actually, I made a video about a Mario Odyssey level, right? And the Mario Odyssey level, it was like a tips video, right? It's a level that's in one of the post-game kingdom where you don't have your hat, right? You can't use your hat in the level, and I've literally gotten like 10 comments, no, more than that, like, this every day I just see multiple people saying, hey, you know you could just capture the bullet bill, and I'm like, actually, no, you can't, because this is not the same one. And I don't know why. I think part of the problem is that well, no, here's the thing, though. The thing is, I didn't realize that the kingdom, that level, there's a similar version of the level earlier in the game, right? But I went ahead and changed the title afterwards to make sure it was clear that this is not that level. This is a completely different level, right? And there are people still saying, hey, you can capture the bullet bill. But that means they didn't even watch the video because he's not wearing a hat. So it's just kind of weird. Yeah, it's okay. Sungon, you're actually the first person to point it out, and that was before I fixed the title. Okay, but there are people that are still doing it now. After I fixed the title, I added a description, I put a pinned comment saying, hey, there's 2 different levels here. So, yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, people sometimes commenters just say all sorts of things, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But anyways, guys, there's a donation. That's what the bop was. I actually technically am not advertising donations, but I guess it's still set up. So thanks, John, from Monolith Gaming. Everyone, if you haven't been to this channel, check it out. He's in the chat, or you can Google Monolith Gaming. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, everyone. I know we're just kind of like we don't even have a direction now. We're just kind of like we're literally just chilling and talking. Which is in a way kind of cool and organic, right? So yeah, anyone who watches it after the fact, I mean, everything's gonna be archived. There's gonna be timestamps for each topic, so I might have to timestamp random conversation time at the end of the discussion. So yeah, well, okay, sure. Yeah, I see, Kimishimi, you said something. You said Tatsumi Kimishima said this. Also, I didn't understand the map in Xenoblade X. It was just a bunch of different colored octagons. I didn't really understand that. So I'm not gonna explain it for you because I don't know either. Like, it was, I enjoyed the different areas. I thought they were really cool. I love the size of it. It was huge. But the map, yeah, there's a whole bunch of octagons. They didn't explain it very well. And that's the thing. Like, they didn't really, the game didn't hold your hand at all. But they didn't really give you an option to learn it really easily either. It was really hard to figure things out. Like, I didn't feel like the map was intuitive at all. It was functional. Once you figured it out, it worked. It was really hard to figure all of it out. And for, like I said earlier in the discussion, I've heard that for this game, Xenoblade 2, they really do a much better job of bringing you along with all the information, understanding everything. And you know, here's another thing. I don't actually like having a map on the gamepad, having to look down at the map and looking back up at the screen. That's actually really off-putting. I prefer it to be one or the other, right? Like, if I'm looking at the map, let me pause the game, you know, or it's all on one screen, because it's actually like moving my head up and down like that. It's actually it's distracting. Because when you're playing a game, I like being focused in, right? It helps me being more immersed. If I'm constantly looking down, it takes away from the immersion, in my opinion. So, yeah.
The only time that was useful was in Wind Waker when you're sailing, because you didn't need to be constantly looking at the screen. So it was helpful to not have to pause for the map. It's the only time I was like, oh man, gamepad's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, like, the way I would play on Xenoblade X, I would literally, obviously not this controller, I would have my controller like this. I'd be sitting down on a couch, and my knees would be up, and the gamepad would be against my lap. So I'd be looking at television, I would look down like that, and I'd be playing with this. Oh, you know, but then when I had to teleport, whenever I had to warp, I would put the controller on the table, go to my gamepad, I'd be like, oh, what do I gotta do here? Okay, I did that, put that to the side, pick this back up. Like, why do I have to use 2 controllers to play a game?
You can't just use
So I think that's a big problem with the Wii U. There's just some parts about it that just were, like, off.
Not
like,
consumer friendly.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know. Anyways, I think we've ranted on for a little bit, and it's you know, getting late now. It's 10 o'clock. We hit basically the hour-and-a-half mark, kinda a little short, but whatever. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. I hope you guys didn't hate this random conversation point at the end. Maybe you enjoyed it, maybe you didn't. Let me know. Anyways, there will be timestamps for each topic within a couple hours once I go back and everything's uploaded and updated. By tomorrow, there will be timestamps for each topic. Hope you enjoyed everything, guys. Next week, we're going to have our Game Awards predictions video. And, well, there's going to be a lot to talk about because the Nintendo Switch is doing really well lately. There's a lot there's going to be a lot to talk about for a long time because things are really successful right now. So, anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night. You can say bye, Brendan.
Bye,
You're allowed
guys.
to do that.
Oh, I am?
Bye!
Real? Bye, guys.
Bye. See ya.
Bye, guys.